Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we're going to be building our first facade building. That is a thin building that goes against a wall that gives the impression of a much deeper building. And my first facade is using the pieces from the last two brick halls and is a construction site. So let's get going. Now last time I did a brick haul and I got the remaining pieces I needed for both stages of this build. The first stage is this one, which is the building itself. Now that is loosely based on the Downtown Fire Brigade set 60216 and the building in that. I've slightly changed it, but I liked the rough hewn nature of it, basically, that it looked like a building that was under construction, and in that set it's on fire. I'm not going to reproduce any of that sort of functionality, but I've made it suitable for having some scaffolding up the very front of it. So this building doesn't need to be very complicated or very good looking because it's going to be largely concealed by the scaffolding with loads of people working on it and so on. So what I've done is tried to take that building and make a simpler version that's as cost efficient as possible. And I'm building that briefly on a 32 by 8 base plate that I just happen to have because it's about the right size, because this building has to be a facade, i.e. a very thin building, because it's going to be sandwiched between the wall of my Lego room and a railway track, and the available space is exactly 8 studs. In fact, it's a little less than that because we've got the supports for the raised tram network, which actually goes another stud into this. So we've really only got 7. So although when this is complete I'll be transferring it onto the green base plates that make up that part of the city, it's easier for me on the building table to just make this on a similar size plate to where it's going to go. So I don't have to worry too much about the positioning of it here. I'm just going to do it right in the middle. Wow, this is quite a tall building. It's very hard to keep in shot, but nonetheless, you can see it all here. It's got its nice white clock halfway up, which is different from the one in the set that this is inspired by. And you can see it's a very, very simple construction, but it's supposed to be partially built, so it makes a lot of sense. I love the lines at the top. I like the clock. And there's two pieces I forgot to add, which were just some little cheese slopes in there. Right, so really this is just the backdrop, and it needs to be this tall so it can be seen from behind the tram line and so on. But this is the backdrop to what is the second stage, which is the scaffolding being built up in front of this and around it with workmen on it, putting it all together. So the second phase is the scaffolding, as I said. I've made one mistake in that I ordered from Bricks and Pieces this in dark bluish grey when what I needed was one more in black, which is annoying, but it turns out they didn't do one in black, so well, I still need one in black. I'm not going to do this live on camera because reaching around it's really quite difficult, and as you can see with this many tiny bricks, it's really going to be quite fiddly. So back in a mo. Now before we start, I've made a couple of changes. I've added the Clutchmore Elementary School sticker from the brick sticker set recently, 853921, just so it had some sort of sign. It looked a bit naked without anything on the top there. And I've also added a lot of tiles on the base. And it's important that these are there when we actually get up to the Lego room, because this won't be a grey base plate there, it'll be green and grass, so it's good that there'll be a paved area just surrounding the building. Also on the inside I've put some dark bluish grey tiles on there, just so it doesn't look like the inside of the building has got grass in it. Now this is quite hard to keep in shot because these things are all very tall and very narrow, but do bear with me. So the main elements are built from dozens of black pieces. We've got cones on the bottom, we've got then 4 long bars, those bar pieces you saw in the latest brick haul, Technic pieces with half pins, 6 long bars and so on, all the way up. And I made 2 of these identical stanchions for each side, and in the middle there's a slightly varied one in that it's got a cutout, and that's just so it can accommodate this clock that's in the middle that otherwise would get in the way, but it doesn't break from the look of the scaffolding. Then held up by those supports are several of these boards, quite simply built, and they're just tiled with reddish brown tiles, and you can see there's some plates in between them just to allow me to add figures and details to the setup as we go. And the top one, there are 4 in total, but the top one's missing a row deliberately because it will clip directly onto this overhang of the building. It's actually 1 stud more proud towards us, so that will clip on the underside of that, giving it stability at the top as well. So the way this works is that these gaps, one in the middle and one at the other end, 3, fit onto these half studs here. And though it's flimsy to start with, it does gain in strength as we go. So you can see that is the first layer, very wobbly at the moment. So let's strengthen it with the next one. Let's hope it doesn't all come crashing down. Whoa, just. So it's starting to gain some strength. So it's clipped on all 3 of those. And the third one. Alright, so you can already see that's fairly strong, but soon it'll be held on at the top and the bottom of the building itself. Now, as I said before, the top one is actually held onto the building, and I've had to put a slightly angled plate on the bottom of this just because one of the lines slightly gets in the way. And we've got that top level of scaffolding actually attached to the building. So now I'm going to bring back the other bit, and it just sits on these brackets at the top. I'm going to push that under quite firmly because it's a very snug fit. I'll put these feet onto the studs in the paving that I made sure were in the right places earlier. Okay. Bit of straightening and we're there. So we'll be largely looking at this at a slight angle because it's going to be near one of the corners of the room, so it'll look much like that. Excellent. Now, another thing that gives it strength and allows minifigures to go from one level to the next is ladders. So these are just these bar pieces with a clip on both ends, and then they're attached with these 1x2 modified plates. So we just attach one of those to each of these ends, and it looks rather good. And I'm going to do it in a zigzag configuration just to give it a bit of interest. Now, this third one is the dark bluish grey one. That will be black in due course, but unfortunately when I ordered it I assumed it was black, and well, it wasn't. It was dark grey, so I still need one of those. It's back on the wanted list. So you can see I've got that one on the other side, and then the one on the bottom doesn't need the bottom clips, so it's the other type and will just fit on this end. Now you can see what was wobbly is not very wobbly at all now. It's more the building wobbling than the actual setup itself. And you can see now it looks even better. I'm sorry to say we're going to have to stop there. We've got to a point where the video's at quite a length already and I've got so much more to show you. So I'll split this video into two parts, but I promise I'll bring the next part as my next video without any brick hauls or anything in between. So thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And as I say, next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll look at part 2 of this building site MOC. See you next time.